for TV purposes, we have to be on time for this scheduled news conference. And there was a tweet sent out. At 4 p.m. Eastern, I will disclose my whereabouts for tonight's Leaf game. It is now 4 p.m., 36 seconds. I'd like to introduce Bryan Hayes.
Thank you. I feel like I should have notes here or a teleprompter.
Yes.
Pause.
Thank everybody.
And then continue.
You're like Biden.
I need a
pause.
Biden here. Pause. And now I continue.
Yeah.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that introduction.
Yeah.
The amount of people texting me, calling me today, stopping me on the street, people texting my wife, like people within my wife's world, like
saying,
she went to school with, like, what's going on? Is Hayes going to be in the building tonight? Petitions going around. Carlo has texted me 45 times today. What's the answer?
He actually is like he cares. He
really genuinely wants to know.
He does. He's not just saying it for not. He cares.
He really cares and really wants to know. And a lot of people care, and a lot of people want to know: will I be at Scotiabank Arena tonight for Game 6?
Please say yes.
You guys want to hear the answer? Should I give you the answer just right off the bat?
No, like I want your reasoning first, and then tell us. Like,
you want reasoning first?
Well, what do you want?
I'd like to build up the drama with reasoning, and then you just come with the heat.
So I put a lot of thought into this. I put a lot of thought into this. And again, I understand this is a big game tonight. It's a beautiful weather, too. 8 p.m. start.
Yeah.
Sets up beautifully.
Patio weather.
Go sit on
patio weather.
Astor's, Loose Moose, have a beer.
Exactly.
Whatever.
I can get out of here at 7. I'll be downtown by 7:30. Easily walk into the building. Among the people, maybe pop into Boston Pizza on front. Say hi to everyone down there.
BP on front.
Right? A little pop in and see everybody. So that is very compelling to me. Big, massive game. It's pro sports. Very, very compelling to me.
You're a broadcaster.
I'm
have
a broadcaster.
Job to do.
I have a job to do. I like to be on the scene. I like to see people, talk to people, get a vibe on what's going on in there so that I can come on this show tomorrow with a full breakdown of what it was like in the building.
Yeah.
I think that's important. I think that benefits our audience incredibly well.
It does.
And I think it puts me in a good spot to be informed in terms of what I'm going to say on SportsCenter, on Jay tonight. I'm doing the double shot tonight. But I'm not going to the game.
You know how I knew you weren't? You're not dressed
going
up.
to the game.
That's why. If you were wearing a suit, you're going. But I'm like, if he's doing TV tonight from the rink, he'd be wearing a suit.
Yeah, you're right about that.
That was my tell for that.
It's automatic win night. Now it's automatic win night. There is people driving, screaming in their cars, screaming at their TVs.
I know. It's like honking like the World Cup. Yeah, exactly.
Jubilation.
But is that the reason why?
I'll give you the reason. And I
Okay.
can tell you what Leaf fans who are superstitious and actually think that this means something that I'm not going to be there tonight. You can thank my daughter because it's her birthday today. My youngest turned 5. And I made a promise to her. I'm leaving here right after the show. I'm going to fly home, have dinner with her, have birthday cake. Then I'm coming back. So I'll be in the studio tonight for SportsCenter and for Jay. So I'm going to catch you watching the game tonight. I'm going to come down and hang out with you guys. So I got a lot. That's why I'm dressed like this. I'm going to go home.
Okay.
I'm going to have cake. I'm going to do the birthday thing.
Got to do that.
Got to do that. That's a priority. And then I'm going to come in. So if it wasn't her birthday today, I probably would have been down there. I would have been down
Don't
there.
you talk tough? Like, would you? Like,
I think I would have.
I don't think you would have. I think you would have caved.
You think I would have caved?
No,
Cave
he
to the
wouldn't,
masses.
because I know him. He's stubborn, and he would have said, "This has nothing to do with me, and I have a job to do."
As I've said countless times, and as you guys have said as well,
I've said it. Yeah.
everyone else is in that building all the time too. Like I outed Masters for. I don't know why I used him as an
saw that
example. I said that on
last
Jay. I'm
night.
like, go talk to Mark. He's down there all the time. No one blames him. No one blames anyone else. There's season ticket holders that are there every. How about look at the players? The players play. Go talk to the
same
guys,
ones.
the same guys that have been playing for the last 6 home games that can't win. Sheldon Keefe yesterday trying to convince himself that they're actually
In Boston.
They're in Boston tonight. You know, they're doing everything they can to convince themselves that this is not a home game, and yet, you know, it's
You're
on
doing
me.
your part.
Now,
You're
what I
doing your
will
part.
say, I'm doing my part. If they win tonight, I'm screwed. If they win tonight and then win Game 7, I'm screwed. But I'm telling everyone right now, this is it.
But one off because you're going.
I'm going back. If they play Florida in the second round, Game 3, I will be in the building. I will be
that's
there.
fair.
All right.
That's
I
fair.
think this is enough of a sacrifice.
So it's a one-off, and
This
you
is
have to
it.
talk to Aaron about this too. Like,
Yeah.
you probably had to have a conversation with her and say, because you could have easily gone home for birthday cake, taken that in, and then made your way down there. and miss the first half of the first period like you usually do on
That's
a 7
valid
o'clock
too.
night.
I probably could do that, but I figured once I've made that commitment, I don't want to miss any of it.
Right, that's
I'm gonna. And listen, it's cool to come in here. I think Hedge and I, we'll be doing our thing. I'm assuming Hedge will be in on SportsCenter, and Jay will be over there, which means I have to suck in my boiler in those seats. The other night, I couldn't breathe. I was sitting there with Frank, and I'm like, my buttons are going to pop right off my shirt.
Yeah.
J seats?
In the J
Well,
seats.
because they're low.
Yeah, they're low
And you
seats,
guys
and I
are
got
tall,
big legs.
and you're
like
leaning
long
back.
legs.
I
Dude,
saw
I
that
sat in the
too.
J seats, and it was kind of somewhere around the COVID thing, and I had, because all I could wear in that day was sweatpants, like gray, giant.
Why was that the only thing you could wear?
I said to Jay, I go, if that camera pans down here, because I had Crocs and the sweatpants on and a nice suit.
Yeah.
I go, it's a Kumite in here.
Right.
Because it can't.
That's a
sure
one.
enough, in his bloop bloops, there they are, the sweatpants and Crocs.
Well, that's the thing. You go in relaxed. You get caught on the bloopers. That they
was-
get a blooper of you.
That-
The guy
they did.
handing you the.
Well, because Tom, the camera guy,
Yeah.
comes on, and that's just a matter of fact thing in TV, and it totally threw me off.
Right.
Because he put the Harvey's mug down while I was, within the
Yeah.
realm of my answer. And I stopped, and I'm like, who's the new guy? And then I realized I'm the new guy.
Yeah,
Because
you're
I
the
should
guy.
have just kept going, and I didn't have the wherewithal to do that. But yeah, it's not, you're in the suit, you're doing your thing. But if you get too comfortable, you start slouching, and then
Yeah.
you're like, man, this is not going to look good on TV. So like the breathing mechanisms in those chairs, very unnatural
Dude,
for me.
if you got a pot belly, and you sit- if you got,
like, you're done on that.
I would see that chair if it was a live thing, and I'd turn around and say, "We're
Yeah.
doing it at your desk, Jay."
right. If desk is an option,
Thing is, too-
because Jay's got like 2% body fat. The guy's 6'5".
Yeah.
Ripped.
Yeah, he's like 180
Well, and
pounds.
Yeah,
he's
you get
put
some
together.
5'8" monster sit in those chairs, you'll disappear.
It's true because plus when you sit, the pants hike up, your
Oh,
socks,
yeah.
are
Everything.
exposed. It's just
Awful.
it's an awkward,
Awful.
It's an awkward look unless you can pull it off. If you're long and lean, no
Yeah.
problem.
Well, you look at Leo Routens and
Oh, yeah,
Sam
they're-
Mitchell with Jay over there. It's the best looking panel on
exactly
TV.
because they're all
It's
6'5" and above. and-
$5,000 suits. They
Yeah.
look like money. And
My 38 32s on that chair, boiler hanging over, outrage with sweatpants on, and Crocs.
Yeah. So I'll be in the chairs tonight, and it'll be like I'll be breathing. I'll be breathing my way through it, and I'm looking forward to that. So, yeah, there it is.
Good.
Not going to be there for the big game tonight, and I will say the attitude and the mood around here has changed a lot with one win and winning Game 5.
Belief, that's what it is.
Well, I don't even know that it's belief, but it's separation from Game 4 and the disappointment. It's like it's further in the rear view, right? Like, what have you done for me lately? Hey, you
And
won a
it's
game
win,
and you
yeah.
played well. Where Game 4 was so disappointing, was such a poor effort, it was so flat, that it just the fan base was so disturbed by that performance, and so disappointed by the way it was trending and where it was going. And you look at the numbers, and we're having fun with this, being in the building and all that kind of stuff. But the fact that they've lost 6 in a row at home has to change. Like it has to change. The
I told
power
you,
play's
the
got
law
to
of
come alive.
averages, man.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess Leaf fans naturally should be feeling good about that. You are on home ice. Something's going to have to break your way at some point, but the big guy's not playing. Like Matthews isn't playing tonight.
Right.
I can't imagine he plays in Game 7. Who knows? We'll see. But if you're not going tonight, you didn't go 2 nights ago, how are you going to go 2 nights from now? We'll cross that bridge.
Gotta have a
You got to get
response
through tonight. There may not
exactly.
be a Game 7. You don't win tonight, it's irrelevant.
Right.
But it wasn't deflating necessarily going into Game 5. If anything, maybe that bandied them together a little bit. Okay, the big guy's out. We all got to pick up our socks that much more. Can you do that twice? Can they do it twice without him?
Same thing
We'll find
as the
out.
last game. The last Tuesday night, I said there's a game Thursday. Show each other who wants to play in it.
Right.
Now there's another game Saturday night in Boston. You got to go.
See if you want to be there.
See if you want to be there, and it'll
Yeah.
all show on the ice. And it started from the drop of the puck. Where the Saturday night game, it was like that performance on Saturday is just mystifying. It's like everything was kind of on the line, and they just came out flat.
Yeah.
Well,
So now there's a new game Saturday night. Obviously, they got to deal with the one tonight, but your preparation, work, your enthusiasm can get you to Saturday, and that's all you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned the power play, And I'm not going to pull up some clips of garbage entries, zone entries, puck retrievals. Last night, those monsters in Edmonton, you know what they did? They just grabbed the puck and said, I'm going to make a play right now, and it's going to be a big part in the game. McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, they just went out there and they did what they're supposed to do, and they made plays. That's all there is to it, Jamie.
You're right. They were credited for 1 for 4, but they scored 2 goals within 2 seconds after the power play. So they were really 3 for 4 last night.
Right.
And it was gross because their power play was 9 for 17. Actually, 11 for 17 if you add those 2 goals in the dying seconds or after. They just destroyed like that. And it wasn't, yes, they're set plays, but it was also just creativity. It was skill. It was will, digging in and getting it done.
Well, and what the Leafs could benefit from, too, is you get an ugly one. That first goal was an awful goal through Riddick.
Oh, yeah.
He had to stop that, and Kane scores. The place is going nuts.
Yeah.
That could benefit the Leafs greatly tonight.
Sure.
Swayman loses one. It gets in. Because I think it's imperative they score first tonight. I think you look at that building. Now, Edmonton was playing with house money. They were up 3-1. They deserve to go through. Full credit to them. I appreciated Doughty's comments after the game where he's like, we lost 4-1. We're not talking about the refs.
Yeah.
We're not talking about anything else.
No,
They were outclassed.
Game and you got dummy.
They got outclassed. And the game they won was in overtime where LA played well. Credit to them and Kopitar snipes in OT. But they could have easily got swept. Got swept. And Edmonton was the better team. They deserved to go through. And you're right. They were tenacious last night. The power play, right off to the power play.
Just go and make a difference. Make a play.
Yeah.
It's not about,
throw everything
they got to get this guy on the half wall. Somebody like John Tavares or William Nylander or Mitch Marner who have scored power play points their whole life for fun. Mm-hmm. That's why they are where they are. Go out there and do it. It's not about systematic stuff and setting up shop on the half wall or whatever. Get the puck and make a play.
Yeah.
Take control.
Thing is, though, penalties were only 3-1 the other night. You got to be good 5-on-5.
Yes.
You got it. That's the thing. 5-on-5 is where this battle is won. Special teams may get you that winner, but you better be good 5-on-5. Leafs are going to be ready. I think Boston's going to be ready too. They were disappointed. That coach has been barking at him for 2 days and saying all the right things and all of that. We'll see. We'll see if they come out tight or we'll see if they come out with something different because they were tight last game. You could tell they didn't want to lose. We'll see what they've got here now on the road where they play a gritty road game.
Yeah.
Try to suck you into stuff. I think this is going to be a really tough game for the Leafs. Let's see what they've got. And with 34, you're right. Just park it. He's not playing tonight. Okay, Max Domi, go and win a bunch of draws like you did the other night. I thought he played really well down the middle of the ice. You're going to need the goaltender tonight. Yes, I don't know if the moment's going to get too big for him or if he'll just embrace it. That's what he needs to do is get on a roll, continue. He played very well last game, followed up with another one. They need another one tonight from him.
Yeah, there's certain things that at some point will break. Will it be tonight? Well, for the Leafs, it has to. I mean, one thing I would say is Swayman. I can't recall an off night or a bad goal. I can't recall one in the series that he's been responsible for where you'd say, man, that was a leaky, bad goal, let alone a bad night. He hasn't had one. He hasn't even come close to resembling a bad night. Everything they've got of him has been earned. Even the other night, the McCabe goal was through traffic up high. Obviously, the Nyes goal, it's off a bounce, and then he's wide open in front. Of course, he's going to tuck that in. Swayman having an off night, you can't control that if you're the Leafs, but that would really benefit them greatly, clearly. Leafs winning at home, Leafs power play coming alive. 3 things going into this game tonight that if you're an outsider, again, you can't be thinking this way if you're in the room, but if you're an outsider, if you're an odds maker or whatever, you're like, okay, the probability would suggest something's going to break here. And yet, again, the Bruins, I'm sure, are much more comfortable going into the game tonight than they likely were the other night because it is on the road. They know the pressure's still on the Leafs. It flips after tonight. If the Leafs win tonight, the pressure is all on Boston going home.
Right.
It's completely on Boston, which that will then become a lesson for the Leafs. Have you learned that you can't take your foot off the gas because you've done it for 8 years where you've been in a position to pounce and you couldn't do that?
What's the what's the line tonight? Is it pick?
FanDuel's got the Bruins favored last time I checked. It's pretty close, but it was the Leafs were playing
slight 100 type of thing.
Pretty close to a pick 'em for the game tonight. Yeah, it's. I'll tell you right now, FanDuel's got -128. The Bruins, Leafs are +106. So the Bruins are a road favorite.
close.
It's close to a pick 'em, which is probably reasonable, probably what it should be. But
I don't. You're right. Like there hasn't been a definitive like, hey, it's 4-0 after the first.
The
type
Leafs
of thing or whatever.
haven't been able to breathe at any point in this series.
But we'll see if because last game it was. Even though the Leafs had a great start, it was just kind of okay. It's 1-1,
1-1 after the first.
We'll see that team's going to let them breathe at all.
I don't
probably not.
There's no breath out there, man.
Probably not.
They had to just play the way they did to scrape out a win in Boston, and it's only going to get tighter.
Yeah,
like
that's the truth.
That's just the way it's going to be.
They're alive because they won in overtime.
If they pull out the miracle, it's going to get even worse against Florida. So get used to it. That's what it's all about. They've known that for all these years.
Yeah.
It's not that easy play. Like, I'm not even getting into it.
I'm not saying that you're going in, like if you're a player and you're thinking, hey, maybe we get lucky and it's easy tonight, then you're losing. Like if that's your mentality, then you've already lost.
Right. I'm speaking. It gets easy if you go out there and have a great period and you're up 3-0 in the second. Then Boston will stretch it out and do something that they're not comfortable with.
Right.
Then you can take a breath because they're going to give you opportunities. But until you get to that point, zero.
Of course.
0-0-0.
Of course. Yeah. But the Bruins, third period of game 1, they could have taken their skates off. That game was over. Third period of game 4, take your skates off. Game was over.
Yeah.
Like the Bruins have had breathers within games where they're like, this thing's over. These guys are done. They're not even close. And that's a testament to the Bruins because even though they didn't like their game the other night, it went to overtime. Like outside of the first, I thought it balanced out. Like I thought the Leafs kept playing well, but I thought the Bruins picked up their play. The Bruins have had one period, I'm sure, where they really, really disliked their game.
I think what happened too is the Bruins kind of shrunk that game. Like they didn't have their A game, so they just were like, okay, we're going to
didn't fight as much.
Yeah, we're going to scratch and claw, kind of shrink this game and see if we can, eke one out at the end type of thing. And they weren't unable to do it. Although Charlie Coyle had a great chance.
Yes, he did.
They damn near did. And the left pad save. I look back, I think that hit Beecher's stick. It was an unbelievable save because Coyle turned and fired, and I think it hit Beecher in there too or whatever. But it was just
quick.
An awesome save. But,
it was quick.
Energy, emotion, everything that comes with it.
Yeah.
8 o'clock start. Let's see what you got. And,
only game tonight, too.
Well, yeah. Listen,
only game on the docket
I
tonight.
love that, man. You got to love the fact that, I don't know, I played in Carolina for a long time, and when it was coast to coast and Saturday night in Toronto, it was like, all eyes are on, man.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. The whole league's watching you tonight.
That's it. You got to love that.
Oh, yeah.
You know that. All of Canada's watching you. You love it. You got an ego, man.
That's why I'm staying home tonight, because I have an ego big enough to think I will factor into what happens on the ice. Imagine I went down after the game shaking Leafs hand. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Stay at home. Birthday.
Stay at home tonight.
Yeah, but I'll be there
to stay home.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's either way. It's going to be great viewing, I hope, and I think it'll be a tense game. I think there'll be emotion involved, but you got to rise to the occasion. I don't know. Watching, part of me, maybe I'm wrong, they've ruled him out, but I was like, I don't know if are they playing possum? Like 34 looked like he was skating a little bit like.
I agreed with you, and what I found surprising is why rule him out now? You didn't do that with anyone else prior to, you know what I mean? Like with Willie, it was always, well, we'll see. He's an option.
Game time decision. Like, all of like, are they playing possum? It's like this guy comes skating out.
Are you allowed to do that?
I don't know.
I thought he was ruled out.
He was, like Keith said, he
ruled him out. Tonight. But the point is the video of him skating this morning, it looked like he had some length to his stride.
Yeah,
it looked like it was just weird because I was like,
he skates out of the tunnel. I rip my shirt off like Hulk Hogan in the sports center.
I don't know. You're right. It's ruled out. I'm pretty sure.
But he's fist bumping everyone. Like he looks like he's in, pretty good spirits. And it is curious that the rule, because even with Willie, which I'm assuming they knew he wasn't playing the first 3 games. They knew at the morning skate he's not playing. Even then, they said, we'll find out tonight. That he could be available for us.
Just thought that was a bit curious.
It is a little bit interesting that
I'm flagging that.
They made the announcement to let everyone know he's not playing, which may have factored into the odds because I think they may have flipped. I think the Leafs may have opened as a favorite, and maybe Matthews being out has flipped it back to Boston.
Yeah.
But that would be some pretty crazy mind games to pull off.
To his point, though, is that legal? to rule him out this morning, and all of a sudden
I don't see why it's any different than saying he may or may not play. Like, what's the difference in terms of, like, you don't have to make an announcement at this point, and you can certainly change your mind.
Stop firing me up. Stop firing me up.
Talk to him. I mean, Noodles is the
I'm the one who brought it up.
Here.
I'm not.
A Matthews conspiracy theory.
I'm not. You guys know. I sit and observe things, and I was like, okay.
Well, if there's those stupid pics they take of the guys walking in the locker room.
If he's walking in a suit at 4 p.m.
Yeah. We're running down to the rink.
I'll be in the building tonight.
No, you won't.
If he plays tonight, do I have to make an executive decision and go down?
Yeah, I don't know.
You Uber Eats a birthday gift to your kid, and you go down there.
Yeah.
FaceTimer.
I might have to. FaceTime from the rink. Good night.
Yeah.
She loves you. Yeah. We should play that JT Miller. Do we have the video of JT Miller at skate this morning?
This is something.
This is so good. And I think the Canucks now, I love them in Game 6. I love them to win tomorrow night because Miller is skating around. If we can play that, Joe, explain it.
I said this to you guys before. Like, you forget that hockey's fun. He's wearing Sheloff's, the goaltender's dress shirt for morning skate. I think it's unbelievable because guaranteed the kid's probably timid, quiet, but he's got some like loud, like, what pink color is that? Pink shirt, like
pink or blush,
mauve or something. Yeah, like blush. And JT Miller is like, what the hell is that? And the boys are like, look at what he's wearing. Okay, give it to me. He wears it for practice. Like, unbelievable. Like, that's the type of stuff. When people ask me, do you miss playing hockey? I don't miss being sore. I don't miss a lot of things. I miss that stuff.
Yeah.
The fun behind it. Look at him.
Look at that shirt. What does he have on that shirt?
It looks like a New Orleans Saints hat.
But Sheloff's is wearing that on the plane probably to Nashville, right? They practiced and then flew to Nashville. This is awesome, though.
That's his go-to shirt, too. You know, Sheloff's, like, he loves that shirt.
Yeah, that's his favorite shirt.
Pride and joy shirt. That's his American Hockey League shirt that he loves.
And him being a European, it's probably a $2,000, dollar Armani special.
He got it. Who knows where he got it? Like Croatia or something like that.
JT Miller's cut the arms off of it or something and put it on.
Sheloff's. What a shirt that is.
I played my first training camp in Hartford. There was this guy, Andre Nikolitin.
Oh, yeah. I remember Nikolitin.
Remember that guy? He wheels up to training camp, and all he had was a grubby brown leather bag with a pair of Asics shoes from 1979 and ripped jeans and a coffee-stained white T-shirt. Yeah. I went back 1 year later, souped-up Beamer, Versace chains, Versace shirts, and just leather pants and everything Versace.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. I looked at him, I said, man, life is good for you.
You're in the National
He got a taste of the Versace, and he just went nuts.
Yeah.
That'll
be Sheloff.
That's their first taste of money and excitement. Like, I remember I played with this guy, Darius Kasparaitis. And Casper, like, legitimately, he tells stories about it. It's well documented. He came from really, like, humble beginnings, like very poor. So when he got some money, he showed up one time with this $8,000 leather coat with tassels on it. It was a black leather coat. It had tassels on it, but it was Armani. And we were all like, oh my God, that's the ugliest thing. Shut your mouth. Yeah. He couldn't say mouth, so he would always say mouse. Shut your mouth. This is the greatest coat. Everything he had would be Armani. His socks would be Armani.
Oh, yeah.
And these guys would spend, because they'd never seen it. They'd never done it. This is their first paycheck. I love the guy, but it was so funny because it had a great.
Such a
man, can he throw hits? Man.
Oh my God!
He's
one of the dirtiest players.
That guy. Yeah. You got a problem.
You try to take your knee out. Like, he was one of the dirtiest players ever.
He threw some monster
and he
hits.
loved it. He would chase that Mark Messier around every night, and he loved it.
He went at Lindros a bunch. Oh. He got Eric a few times.
Yeah, Casper.
I think Eric grabbed him a couple times too. Beating.
Well, he had a head the size of a mascot's head.
Yeah,
but he could take a beating too. He was tough as nails. But like our nickname for him was Ugly, and like you could hear Travis Green would be yelling for a pass like Ugger.
Ugger.
He was awesome, but like. you talk about clothing. He came from Russia or wherever.
He's Lithuanian.
Lithuanian.
He's born there anyway.
But yeah,
he went 5th overall, man. I didn't realize he went that high.
He was a really good player. But then I think what happened, he signed that big deal with the Rangers, and I think they expected him to be
something
more that he wasn't. He didn't handle the puck.
He wasn't offensive at all. He was just aggressive. It was
the right-handed shot that came from Montreal to Toronto.
Commissaric. Yeah.
He was more the Commissaric type. And then the Rangers were like, you can play on the power play. You can do it. He can't do that. He was just a hitting, stay-at-home, solid defender.
Block shots.
Yeah, I think he signed 5 years, $25 million, something like that. It was a big deal.
It's a lot of Armani.
Oh,
that's New York Armani, too.
Yeah.
That guy would have been on Fifth Avenue. Real Armani. Those checks wouldn't have lasted long, I don't think, for Darius. All right, Andrew Raycroft coming up. His take on Leafs Bruins Game 6 tonight. We'll look back on the 2 games that we saw last night, including Dallas. That was a grinded-out game, man, but it was a barn-burner first period, and then it just kind of slowed down, and Dallas ends up finally winning on home ice. They're up 3-2 going back to Vegas.
Crazy, man.
Yep, yeah. And Edmonton's through. We're waiting to see if Vancouver gets through. That'll be Edmonton-Vancouver. Winnipeg was clearing out their room today. They had a bunch of audio and video come out. We'll get into some of that. We got Eddie O, Pucks and Ponies, the Derby this weekend.
Oh, my.
The Leafs win tonight. You get the Derby right into Game 7 on Saturday. Eddie O will be right in his element.
Yes.
So Pucks and Ponies with Eddie O just after 5 o'clock. We'll tee up the Derby, tee up Game 6 with him. OverDrive continues, TSN 1050 and on TSN 4. OverDrive continues, brought to you by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Bryan Hayes, Doug, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan, our buddy Andrew Raycroft will join us here in a moment.
Maybe we'll sing the song together, our song we used to sing in practice when we were both hating life. I hate hockey. I hate hockey. We both got sucked into the vortex of singing that in the morning.
Was that the second year you were here?
Yeah.
First year you had fun.
Oh, yeah. There was no song the first year. That was our second-year song. It was our anthem.
That's when JFJ was walking down the stairs to say hi to you guys, or what?
Get me started.
When he acquired Yannick Perreault at the deadline?
Yep. Making moves, moving and shaking.
I can neither confirm or deny that.
Do we have Razor on the line? All right, we can't confirm that. Here's Andrew Raycroft, former Leaf, former Bruin. What's happening, Andrew?
Oh, not much at all. Just giggling away.
You hear any cannot confirm or denies with Fergie in your time up in Toronto?
No.
Okay.
No, it wasn't as bad for me with Fergie as it was some of the other things.
Okay.
But a whole other one.
All right.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Moving on.
All right. Give us a vibe check in Boston. I mean, up here, it's surprisingly optimistic. I'm not sure why that would be the case, but Leaf fans are kind of feeling okay, even though, they've lost 6 in a row at Scotiabank and they're still down 3-2 in the series. What are people in Boston thinking of where the Bruins are at?
There's certainly some nerves here in general, just because of the history of 3-1s with not just the Leafs, but kind of with everybody in the Eastern Conference and the Bruins, especially last year. But I think just as much of anything is kind of people are annoyed / angry at the way they played Game 5. I don't think it would be quite as big of an issue if they had played great and Joe Woll made 50 saves. It was more the way they came out and played horrible in the first period and just really never got to their game. So those nerves, and then there's annoyance and a little bit of anger in the fact that they're actually playing this game tonight.
Razor, it was a flat start. Did you sense that the Bruins had some nerves or some almost scared to lose type of thing? What did you make of why they started so slow and couldn't get it going? They got going near the end of the game, but it was almost a little too late for their effort early on.
Yeah, it was, and I think it did seem a little bit like that. Just being overly tense. But for me, watching it, and I had this complaint with them last season in the playoffs, and I hadn't seen much of it in this series, but I thought they got back to trying to make plays to the middle of the ice. And in the defensive zone, especially in Toronto's in 3 and 4, and they didn't do this last year against Florida, is they relieved pressure by flipping it out or just chipping it out, and I thought they got back to trying to make plays to the middle of the ice. And there's a lot of talk about the pressure when Bruins face forechecks and things, and I think they're actually okay with it when they keep it simple. But I thought in Game 5 they went back to trying to play a perfect game, and I'm sure that's part of the nerves, but you can't play a perfect game in the NHL anymore. It's too fast, it's too crisp, and there's too much pressure on you defensively. So I thought they just got away from keeping it a little simpler, and they didn't put any pucks on net. So I think all of that can be related to nerves, but I think technically that's what they got away from.
Razor, who do you expect to lead is it 63 that's going to lead the charge? Or do you expect more from others? Like 88's been good at times, but do you go right to 63 Marchand and say that's going to be the guy to lead the charge tonight?
No, I think it's 88. I think it's 88, and I think it's 18. Zaka and Pasta have been really good this year, and Zaka's got as many points as Pat Maroon does through 5 games. So I think it's those guys. I think we've already seen what Brad is. Brad brought everybody into the fight in games 3 and 4 and put it on his shoulders. He shouldn't need to do that every game. Of course, he's going to compete tonight, and he's going to be a part of something. We know that. One way or the other, Brad's going to be a part of the game tonight. I think it's more 88 and 18 that need to be a big part of this game if the Bruins are going to win.
Yeah, up here, obviously a big story is that Matthews has been ruled out. Noodles is kind of sniffing, not a conspiracy theory out, but it's possibly comes up flying tonight because whatever you say in morning skate doesn't matter. I mean, the league doesn't hold you to anything, so maybe they're playing mind games. But the idea of him being out, I'm sure that factored into a lot of what Bruins fans were thinking going into Game 5 and maybe leads to the disappointment that they played the way they played. But the Leafs responded well. I'm not sure if the Leafs can respond in the same fashion tonight, but how big of a role do you think that could play in the outcome tonight, the fact that Matthews won't be playing?
Well, you guys know that whenever somebody, again, and I said this after Game 4, like this is a wounded team that can come out fighting. Their backs are against the wall. They have nothing to lose, and it's dangerous. And that added when Matthews isn't in the lineup for Game 5 and could add this tonight. I like the conspiracy theory, Noodles. It shouldn't shock anybody if he comes flying out in warm-up. If he had a long skate earlier this morning, it would be a perfect way to throw everyone off the scent. I hope the Bruins themselves, fans think that way, right? Fans think, the best player's out, so no one else can play hockey. And, of course, over an 82-game season, but one game is one game, and these guys all know how to do it. They're all pros and can find a way. So I thought it made them a little more dangerous the other night. I do think that game would have been 4 or 5-1 had Matthews had the opportunities that Morgan Riley ended up having on the power play. The plays ended up on Riley's stick instead of Matthews' stick, and they didn't end up in the back of the net. So my thought coming out of that Game 5 was if they had Matthews, this thing would have been an absolute blowout the way the Bruins played. So I think the fans think that they should have won automatically because there's no Matthews, but certainly players and certainly guys that have played the game before know that there's a lot of step up when that kind of situation happens. And again, if the conspiracy theory isn't true and he's out tonight, someone else is going to have to step up for the Leafs.
Razor, where's Jim Montgomery through all of this? He seemed a little bit chippy in his media the last couple of days. And
chippier than I thought, Jim.
Yeah, he's pretty composed, but he's kind of just been going straight at it, saying, I woke up pissed and I'm still pissed today. Like, how's he been handling all this?
Yeah, and he's cracked the whip a lot more this year at different times with that, that media outness and being honest and going after guys. It's a younger team. There's no Bergeron. There's no Krejci, so he's not worried about offending those guys quite as much, I think, this season. And listen, the reality is he's feeling the heat too, right, guys? Like, you make changes after winning 2 games in a row on the road and come back home and take 2 players out of your lineup and then lose that game. I think he's feeling the heat.
He should, though, Razor. That's stupid, man.
Hey, I can't argue with that, especially the Beecher move. That's interesting. Well, both moves, Rick, quite honestly. Both guys coming out of the lineup and then going back to them tonight. So he certainly recognized or was told by someone in the area that he made a mistake, and I think that's probably put him in a poor mood as well. Certainly, you as a coach, he's coached 4 games now in the playoffs where he could have closed the team out, and he's 0-4. That's not a good record, and if it continues, we all kind of know where you end up if that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, the nature of head coaches in the NHL, it doesn't matter really, what your regular season is, generally speaking. I mean, with the Leafs and Keefe, it's been different. But
and if the players can't get it done, the coach gets the label, you can't get those guys over the top.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
It's the easy way out, really. I mean, it's the most obvious, easiest rip off the Band-Aid move because you can't remove the players. It'll be Montgomery that takes the heat.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah, and as you said, I mean, he's probably well aware of that. Yeah, we'll see tonight. I mean, Joseph Woll the other night, obviously that's the position you played. What did you make of his game and how young he is? The idea that this moment, maybe because he's coming in relief, like he doesn't have a chance to think about it. He'd be thinking about it the last 2 games, though, and 2 nights anyway, and he's playing at home tonight. What do you expect out of a young guy in net?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. He's kind of playing with house money. I think that there's not that much pressure. If he loses, it's still going to be get rid of Samsonov, get rid of the coach, get rid of the he's in a good spot. He's the starting goalie of the Leafs next year, almost no matter what happens at this point, or that'll be somewhat of the narrative through the summer. And he responded in the same way last year's playoffs, right? He comes in after Samsonov gets the first series win and the Florida series, so he gets his couple of games. He plays really well. And so I think it's a perfect scenario for him. As a young goaltender, it's a perfect scenario to come into this series, get the win on the road. The guys play great in front of you. You only have 2 shots in the first period. You're able to kind of move into that game and be relaxed. And if you have a similar first period, you could really, like, if Joe Woll gets out of this first period tonight, 0-0 or 1-1, and handles a Bruins push at some point, even if it's just a couple of minutes, I think you might even be able to see him physically growing out on the ice. The confidence is just going to get big. The crowd's going to be behind him. He's going to get a huge ovation. So unless the Bruins get to him early, I envision Joe Woll's confidence growing even more in tonight's game.
That's what Leaf fans want to hear. Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be a fun one tonight. Game 6. He is Andrew Raycroft, former Leaf, former Bruin, NESN studio analyst. Enjoy it tonight. We appreciate you doing this. We'll do it again down the road.
You got it. Hazy, are you going tonight?
No, man, I'm not.
To go or
no, I'm not. I'm not going. I'm taking one for the team.
He's doing the right thing.
The fans have bullied him to stay home.
Yeah, I've been bullied into not being allowed to go down, so I'm in the studio
No
tonight.
sack. He doesn't have enough sack razor.
Yeah, gutless maneuvering by me. Yeah, it's gutless. If they win tonight, I'm so screwed too. I've been going to that building for 25 years.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, I know.
If they win tonight, and what if they win? Like, you're going to have tickets for the Stanley Cup Final, Game 6.
I know.
You're not going to be allowed to go.
I
realize that, right?
know. I understand that. That's kind of. Although I said off the top, I'm like, there's a reason I'm not going tonight. I won't be there. If they win tonight, they win Game 7. I am going Game 3. I don't care what happens. I will be there. I might get tackled on the way in.
Just wear a wig and a fake nose.
Yeah. Well, someone suggested that today. They're like, can we get you a mustache or something? I'm like,
go down to makeup here at TSN. They'll put a mustache on you, a fake beard.
Maybe. We'll see. You're not. Are you superstitious?
Alumni tickets.
Oh, well, that's what I need is up in the alumni box if I can get up there. But I don't think I'd be welcome up there either.
Razor, this guy's been to the alumni. People think he is alumni.
I think I played 1,200 games for the Leafs.
He pre-orders the food he wants when he knows he's going, this pig.
You're eating the shrimp before Wendell gets his hands on it?
Exactly. Sorry, Wendell. I'm in line here. Anyway, thanks, Razor. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, guys.
There's
Enjoy.
Andrew Raycroft. Yep, not going down tonight, causing quite the stir. Again, there's a reason for it. It's my daughter's birthday, family guy. Got to get home to see her.
Got to do it, buddy.
I'll be in the studio tonight, though. Win, lose, or draw, I'll be there.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. And I'm telling you, if they get through, I will be there in the second round.
We know. We heard you.
I just want to make sure everyone understands that.
Just lay it out.
Honestly, we'll make a deal. You're not going tonight. They advance to the second round. Never to be brought up again. Agreed?
Well, we can say that all we want. Do you expect the masses to believe in that? I mean, if they win tonight, our Twitter and Instagram and everything's going to blow up.
Right.
Like, it's going to blow up tonight if the Leafs find a way to win. And that's fine. Listen, we'll embrace it. What are you going to do? So on the players, see Charles Barkley last night just laying into pundits who were yelling about Darvin Ham with the Lakers and Frank Vogel with the Suns.
Dude, he's right.
He's absolutely
Players
right.
suck.
The teams stink.
Yeah.
The Lakers had to play in.
Guys are over the hill.
They're not that
good anymore.
Yeah, sorry. I get it's the Lakers and LeBron. They're not that good.
But that's what these players with so much power do. They go to the owner, they go to the GM and say, you got to fire the coach. We need something different. And
it's going to happen.
And
Darvin Ham's getting fired.
LeBron's a different case because he's still good at his age.
And he's LeBron. He's such a different level.
But what's a new coach going to do for KD against Ant-Man?
Nothing. Nothing with that team.
I like the way that he articulated it, where he goes, for all you punks, idiots, and jackasses,
you're all
like he literally just takes a
hammering,
just starts chewing. I mean, that's him though. He's awesome.
Listen, coaching obviously is important. It plays a role, of course it does.
Right.
But what is the role? 5%, 10%? Yeah, that's important. But the players control 95% of what you're going to do.
Right.
Like you get into crunch time in a big game, that's on the players.
Yeah.
You know, like, sure, if you have the wrong rotation, if you call a bad timeout, like there's things that coaches you didn't challenge when maybe you should have. Although even that is kind of weird because it's not up to the coach in live time. It's on the video guy upstairs. But you get the ball in your hand. Like the Lakers are an example. LeBron missed a wide open three to close, I want to say game 3. Missed the shot.
That's on him.
It's not Darvin Ham. Missed the shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the Suns got swept. Was that on Frank Vogel? Like, what has Bradley Beal done at any point in his career? Nothing in terms of winning. Nothing.
Yeah,
Neither's Booker.
I agree.
You know, KD's got his rings, but he got them because he was in Golden State.
You know what Devin Booker's known for? Getting 70 points in a game.
Yes.
That's it.
And the Kardashians.
In
And
the cars that he
Jenners
drives and the cool house that he has in Arizona.
Yeah, I mean,
which is a cool lifestyle.
he does live pretty.
And he's great. He's a very good player. Great player.
But that's what he's
not
known
winning.
for. Getting
It's not
70
winning.
points in a game.
Yeah.
Right, it's not winning. All right. Eddie O coming up. Pucks and Ponies, the Derby this weekend. Leafs game 6 tonight. We'll get his take on what he expects. Vancouver, Nashville game 6 tomorrow. Game 6 back in Vegas. Got a few series that are still alive, but the Oilers are through. Colorado's through. Florida's through. The Rangers are through. Carolina's through. The only series in the East going is Leafs Bruins. Like the East could be over tonight. And that feels like really, really quick. You know, for all of these to be over that quickly. But that's basically what the Leafs are trying to supply tonight with a win, keep the East alive.
But I feel like this first round, even though it's been quick, it's stretched on. It's been long. It's like
Forever,
weeks. It feels like it's been weeks and weeks.
Yeah, it'll be 2 weeks on Saturday. Yeah.
I know, but it's like...
It's been 12 days, 13
I think
nights
it's the
of
Leafs
play.
series because of the 2 back-to-back double-day breaks.
Right.
Just like, come on.
Yeah.
played
that
one game
one
in
hurt.
5 days or whatever. That's really what it was.
Yeah, that one
So,
hurt.
Yeah.
All right. So Eddie O coming up, and Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Well, you warned me, and now I'm on your side. Went for lunch today in the Queensway, grabbed a quick bite, walked out to my car. Somebody was wearing a jacket type thing. It was beautiful out. And I just tried to do my, start up a little convo, and I said, it's getting warmer out. It's almost time to ditch that jacket. She said, go to hell and leave me alone. And I just said, that's it. I'm never... It was a simple, like, kind of Canadian weather type thing. And it was, go to hell. And I'm like, I'm with Hazy now.
Yeah, don't even engage. There's no need for it. That seems like a highly...
That's an aggressive
response.
It is.
And unreasonable
But that
response.
just made, all it took was that one experience where I'm like, I like bebopping around town. It's just like, hey, how's it going? Crack a little joke here. I'm that dad guy.
Yeah.
My kids tell me that all the time to stop. They call me a loser. They're like, Dad, can you please stop being a loser? People don't want to talk to you in Walmart. And I'm like, that's just what I do.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it anymore.
Listen, I think you just got to pick your spots.
No,
right? There are
dude,
certain places where you
all
do
in
that.
or nothing. I'll never do it again.
Well, yeah, I don't think you need to pick people out when they're walking down the street. Again, that seems like a very unnecessary response. Yet, I don't know what kind of vibes you were giving off, and they're probably
Dude,
like, leave
it
me
was
alone.
a simple. What?
I don't know. Why are you're commenting on
You're
someone's
telling her to-
jacket?
yeah.
No,
Like,
I was just. It was just like it's getting warm out. It's almost time to.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I deserved it.
Maybe you did. Maybe it was
like-
one of those "Why are you talking to me?"
Yeah,
moments.
it depends on how you approach somebody too. Like You might have startled the person. You know, they might be in their own world just thinking about
Maybe what
something
my
else.
wife says is true. She's like, you just don't know how you sound. Like you.
Yeah, it's
Loud voice,
It's loud.
That's what
it's
my wife. I don't know
obnoxious.
if it's because of this job. She tells me that I talk so loud.
We
Do I
have,
talk-
we have a TV and radio voice. Yes, our voices are loud.
I know, but I'll be downstairs talking to a contractor about drywall, and I'll come upstairs when the guy leaves. She's like, "You were just yelling about dry," and I'm like, "I was just talking to the guy."
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't pick up on that either, but probably just because of what we do. I don't sense that you have like an abnormally loud,
No.
like room temperature voice or sound. But
Anyway,
yeah,
I'm on Team Hayes. I'm on Team Hayes.
Yeah,
dude.
there's
It's
no need
more.
to engage.
No, I'm not doing it.
Don't be rude. You say hi to everybody. You know,
Hey, but it goes both ways. If I get the old "Hey, O-Dog," I'm just going to say no, thanks.
well, I don't
No.
think you need to do that.
No,
I mean,
it goes both. If you're on Team Hayes, it goes both ways.
It can be a one-way street. It
Right.
can't. That's my thing. If you're approaching me, I'm always like, I get the fraud stuff, and I'm always like, hey, thanks so much. You know, good to see you. Right? Like it happens, and people are engaging, and they're fans of the show. And if someone's just being nice or whatever, I'm cool with that. Like I'm, hey, how's it going? But I'm not going to stop and instigate someone, let alone with a clothing commentary and mixed together with a wind and a weather update. I think you just overplayed your hand there.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's one thing, again, Leaf hat, hey, go Leafs, go. That's natural.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, that jacket better come
Handshake,
off.
did the hand
I
come
did
out?
not
too?
say it like that.
Did the
jacket
handshake
better
come out
come
too?
off.
Like
Yeah, like how's it going? Hey, I really like your jacket. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Like,
Oh, okay. Well, when I'm at the ACC and Larry comes out of the toilet,
No,
and
you don't need
stands
to
up
blame
and
Larry.
says, "Hey, O-Dog, how's
Well,
it going?"
that I
I'll
agree.
break his arm in half.
That I agree with.
that's
Larry should
different.
know
Yeah,
better.
that's different. Yeah.
That's different. All right, Eddie O coming up. Pucks and Ponies, Game 6, Leafs Bruins Derby on Saturday. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.